Okay. Oh my gosh. It has been so long since I've filmed like this. Guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Happy Military Monday! I am wearing the San Francisco jersey. Go 49ers. There's my baby bump. Anyways, I'm filming. I hate blank walls, as you guys know, but pretty soon I won't be able to really film in here because it's going to be the boys' nursery, and we finally decided on a theme, and we may or may not be doing some paint jobs in here, so I'm going to have to find a new area. So the reason why I've taken a break from Military Mondays, if you guys don't know, I'm doing Vlogmas right now, so I'm vlogging every day, but I'm not posting it every day, just so that way I'm not overloading my audience. But I am vlogging so much that it creates too much. I think I may film one more video, content video wise, or I'll have one more video to post, which is my baby update that'll be coming, and pretty much I'm going to take a break from posting actual content related videos until the new year. After Vlogmas ends, I don't know how our schedule will be. I do know I'm going to take a little bit of a break just because I've been uploading for you guys, and currently I'm in the middle of my midterms, which I need to go work on, and I just wanted to let you guys know that. I'm going to jump straight into this video. So this video is a really heavy topic, but I wanted to make sure I get this out in 2020. As you guys know, the world has been suffering from multiple, I would say two major pandemics, one being the virus and the other being racism, and not just in our country but other countries as well, especially the UK I think had some craziness going on as well. So I really wanted to come on here and give you guys my perspective and my opinion, because a lot of you, I did an interview with my friend Rashida, and I couldn't remember if we said her name, but I'm pretty sure we did, and we talked about being military members and serving during racism. And I just wanted, I'm a military member, I have this platform, and it's like, Veronica, you need to talk about this. And my first trimester of pregnancy was really, really hard, and I have my days now, but I really wanted to push through and really film this content for you guys, because I want you guys to know that I'm there with you. Let's back up. I'm not going to touch on every single little thing, but I'm just going to talk about the Air Force and the major things that I've been doing. So rewind back to George Floyd. I believe sometime after that, there's an article released where the Air Force did confirm that it had been hiding certain things because of racism, because the black airmen who reported things felt that they were not being heard, and the Air Force did confirm that there have been things that have been dismissed, hidden, whatever, because of the color of certain airmen's skin or my skin. And so that was really disheartening. It was really hard to hear as a black person, who serves for this country, and who oftentimes people probably look at some people. I do know some people who are super like Malcolm X pro-black, I would say, is the correct term, hopefully. And they ask me like, why would you serve for this country when this country doesn't even serve you? And you know what? I always roll my eyes and have a smart, reaction to that. But then when things consistently keep happening, in real world, like George Floyd and, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Black, and I could go on and on, Trayvon Martin from years ago, you start to really think. It's hard. It's hard when you put on the uniform and everyone treats you quote unquote the same, or maybe they don't really, but they're not going to let it show through uniform. And I've experienced that, where in uniform, I'm one of the guys, I'm just like everyone else, and sometimes I'll have occasional disrespect, which I correct on the spot, especially in uniform, and other times, I can just tell there's a little bit more bias, and I already talked about a little bit being black in the military in my other video, but specifically putting on a uniform and having, I remember the state of Montana, predominantly white, the KKK has one of their headquarters there, it's ridiculous, can't even get your hair done. And I remember doing a parade, and this father and daughter came up to me. They were white, and they said how great it was to see me in the uniform because he wanted his daughter to show that other women do it too and they can do it. And you know, I felt good because I felt like they saw what I contributed and not necessarily my skin color, even though he saw my skin color, but he felt, you know, good enough to come up to me. And he was a native there, so that was nice. And then it gets hard because I feel like, you know, I have airmen who I had underneath me, and it was really hard because all this stuff kept happening and happening and happening. And I did feel a little bit let down by, you know, as a whole, because I felt like, one, no one really addressed it. It was almost like it was ignored, like it didn't really happen. Like, you know, the constant killings of black people on the street wasn't affecting us. No one really came, the group of us, no one really came and checked on us, said anything. And part of it is because they didn't know what to say. When you grow up in the majority, you don't always know what to say to the minority. You know, a lot of people had no idea what to say, what to do, how to act, how to think. And it did frustrate me. It was really hard. It's really hard to, you know, constantly, when you put on a uniform and you know, you swear an oath to protect and all this stuff and serve under people and follow leadership, and it's hard when you feel like you're being let down or that you don't matter as much as someone else who's just simply lighter than you. And so that was really hard for my friends and I who were black officers or black enlisted airmen, and to have that article come out, and it felt like no one was saying anything where we were at. So finally, we confronted the situation and it got addressed, and I was so proud of us, and I felt so empowered to do so, because I feel like you cannot be a leader in today's society if you don't know how to address certain topics. And it's okay to say, you know what, I don't know how to address this. I messed up. I should have said something, but I didn't know what to do. And that's why as a leader, as I grow up to be a leader, God willing, I, you know, get to command airmen under me, I know I'm going to do my best to make sure that even when I'm a part of the minority, I still understand other minorities, or maybe majority are going through something. It's my job to research, understand, listen, not try to fix all the time, but just listen to what people have to say. And I feel like they did that. I'm speaking about previous leadership. I feel like they did that, but it took a while. It took a little bit longer than I'd like, and I'm being honest with you guys. And, you know, I was talking to my dad about how, oh my gosh, no one really said anything. They're just acting like it's another Tuesday with Corona. Like, no one's really said anything. I feel like, you know, as a leader, you should be addressing this and apologizing or saying, you know what, I'm so sorry it took so long. My dad said something that really stuck to me. He's like, why are you so worried about people apologizing? He's like, I don't want you to worry about that, because he's like, the thing is, when they finally apologize, is it going to be genuine? When they finally confront the feelings or say, you know, I messed up, what, you know, is this going to change them on the inside, or are they just saying it to appease you? And I thought about that hard, because, you know, after so much time in the Air Force article, more killings happening, protests were happening, the world was going crazy. We were at the pivotal point of change had to happen. And I remember saying something, and I was pretty mad. I was angry because I felt like I constantly put on my uniform, but I need an ally to help fight with me. You know, it can't always be the black people who are always constantly fighting. And I remember we had kind of like a little meeting, and I chose to speak probably a little bit too freely, but I chose to say it. And I felt like I don't want to be oppressed more than the world already oppresses me. You know, I already wear the uniform, which is, you know, there's already so many regulations with that. For so long, we couldn't even have our hair really how we wanted to have it until just recently. And even now, there's still so many regulations over it. But you guys, there was a time where black women, we could not wear braids in our hair, and our hair was constantly breaking with the gel. And even now, wearing my hat, the hat is made of this material that just rubs your edges raw and you lose your edges, you know. And the fact that, you know, I take off my cap and my hair looks unruly because it's not sleek and slick like this. It doesn't just go straight. And the judgment, I've had people measure my hair, you know, make comments, you know, and all that stuff you just keep putting down. And we had enough this year. We had enough. Systemic racism that exists is not just in the military, it's everywhere, and it's rampant. For me, like I was saying, towards the end of everything going on, I realized I should not be demanding an apology. I should not be asking for an apology from higher leaders. Nothing. Because if you're in your heart, this is not just about wearing a uniform, but in your heart, if you are not inherently changed by what you saw, if it doesn't affect you, if there's, you know, if you're not fazed by it, you don't want to change, then we have no need, there's no need for that. I have no need for your apology. And I'm so happy that the Air Force Chief of Staff came out. All of them up there are top leaders, and I'm so proud to be an airman. They came out and they said enough is enough. We will not have this within our organization. And, you know, all the black airmen were sent surveys to do, and I completed mine. And it's just amazing to see how when you're in a big organization, especially government organizations, you really got to start, you really have to have a huge leaders from the top. And it's been crazy, you know, eye-opening, because we've had panels. I've been asked to speak on multiple panels where I just share genuine truth. I do not hold back. And you know, at first I was like, oh, well, let me not say this because let me be politically correct. And I'm like, you know what? No, because I'm a black airman. You see my color, you know. I'm tired of the hiding and the skirting things under the rug. And we've had multiple things, and even transitioning to a whole new command. The command sends out constant emails about diversity. My school holds, I haven't been able to attend them, but my school has constantly held diversity forums, microaggression forums, which is important. My other huge top level commander, he sends constant emails, not just about African American, but Indian heritage, Asian heritage, Pacific Islander heritage, like all the minorities. He sends stuff out constantly. And I'm not talking just like a paragraph. These are, and I don't know if he writes it, I'm assuming he does because he just seems very thoughtful from his emails, but they're long emails and you can tell he really put his soul into it. You know, the last thing you want to do, and I think where a lot of people probably made mistakes is within handling this, was you could tell the insincerity sometimes, or hey, I don't really know what to say, but I'm going to push this out because it's the right thing to do. Those are the wrong moves to make. And it just taught me so much about the type of leader I want to be. It taught me, you know, being a black airman, how I need to make sure I'm being a voice for black airmen underneath me, how it's good to challenge leadership and, you know, borderline say things that are politically not necessarily incorrect, but not the most correct, and sugarcoating it for them to make them feel comfortable. I'm done making other people feel comfortable when I have had to feel uncomfortable pretty much all the time wherever I go, and I'm the only black woman or the only female, or, you know, I'm the only dark-skinned girl and people make comments or say things. You know, black people have had to endure this for so long. And the biggest point that I wanted to make within the military is I know they're at least I can speak for the Air Force. I can't speak for the other branches. I know the other branches are probably doing the same things because usually it's one fight, one voice. But the Air Force has really stepped up. The problem is with racism, especially systemic racism, it's so deep-rooted. It's going to take a long time before I probably see the level of change of where I need it to be at. That's just me personally, Veronica. They have been making changes. There's been so many surveys, so many actions. Commanders have sent out things, and you know, the biggest thing that I loved was they're looking into records of minorities who were discharged, just to make sure, because there are people out there, and I've met them, where they try and force black airmen out because they're racist leaders. So they're looking into that. You know, it's going to take a long time before things are actually rectified, and it's not going away. Also, a positive thing that I learned too is I don't ever meet, you know, ignorance with hate. Is it frustrating? Does it anger me sometimes that in 2020 we have to talk about this or do things or go to protests and deal with all this? Yeah, it's frustrating. It's freaking exhausting and traumatizing how much trauma, you know, a lot of us have experienced, especially when you have to go back into a system that you know wasn't really necessarily made for you in the first place. It's hard. It's a mind-numbing thing. But what I always commit to is that I want to be that person where I'm approachable and people who don't look like me can approach me and say, hey, I said this, or I'm thinking this, is this right? Do I need to be checked? Or can you tell me what's the correct terminology? I love having conversations like that with people. I love, you know, my brothers and sisters who don't look like me coming to me and asking and seeking out that knowledge and just overall making a change, not for me, but for the human race and just to love everyone, you know. And that's what I have to remember too, is that I'm also a Christian, you know, and God says, you know, when we get up in heaven, we're all brothers and sisters on this earth, but really when you get up in heaven, it's all brothers and sisters. We're not going to have a black corner and a Hispanic or Mexican corner and, you know, white corner. We're all going to be holding hands with each other, singing about God. And so I try to make sure that I'm thinking that way down here on earth, is when people say racist stuff, oh, you bet you I'm going to correct them and report it, especially now because I don't know who they're going to be governing over. But also, you have to give patience and understanding to people who mess up and they come back and they say, I was wrong. And forgiveness is the biggest thing. It's so hard though. It's so hard, especially when you're serving and you're putting on the uniform. And, you know, you guys could probably ask me, Veronica, are you affected? I mean, you serve in the Air Force. Does this affect you? Do you feel tired and traumatized? Do you sometimes want to take it off? Yeah, I definitely do. Sometimes I feel like, well, what's the point? But I have to snap out of that, because if all of us said, what's the point? We wouldn't get anywhere. We need to band together. We need to continue to progress this movement. And it's not really a movement. This is a change. We demand it, and I demand it, and I refuse to stop. So anytime I get a chance to speak, or they ask me to be on something, a panel, or, you know, there's a class or something, I try to do it. I try to make sure I'm attending and voicing my concerns. And even recently, we had interviews with top level leaders in my corps who, you know, I directly kind of work for, because they're at the very top and they're MSCs as well. And I straight up asked them, what have you done because of the Black Lives Matter movement and everything, and the Air Force coming out with this? What have you done as a leader to ensure it doesn't happen in your unit, or what levels of changes? And the leader who I asked actually told me that was a fantastic question, and good on me for asking. And, you know, the Air Force has also now stood up a diversity and inclusion unit, so maybe one day I'll get to work for them. That would be so cool. But yeah, so they actually have a division unit now who is working on a bunch of stuff for the Air Force to enact. And again, like I said, it does take time. I think it would be nice to see change like this and like everyone just be like, we were wrong, let's all be in harmony, like the Walgreens commercial. But it doesn't work that way. And so I have to be patient and understand. Like I told you guys, the biggest thing is there's a chance that people will not respond the way I want them to respond, and I have to be okay with that. I have to just focus on me. And so that's the biggest thing I can tell you. If you're an airman or a soldier or a sailor or a Marine or a Coast Guard, who am I leaving out, or a space airman, or Forceman, space, I don't know what they call you guys. Anyways, Space Force and Air Force are kind of, we're sisters. If you fall into one of those categories and you're like, I'm struggling because I feel defeated, don't worry. I feel that way sometimes too, but you just have to be able to be a little bit more resilient in the fact that change is going to come and it's going to happen, but it's not going to be overnight. If you are experiencing any type of racism or discrimination, please report it. I know even me sometimes, I'm like, you know, when people say stuff, I'm like, did they just, you know what, let me just leave that alone because I'm protecting my peace. And then I realize I have a friend come and they say, oh, this person said this comment to me, and I'm like, hold up, so it's a pattern. And so that's why whenever things like that are going on, the EO, Equal Opportunity Officer, I'll never forget him. He taught me that every little thing has to be and needs to be reported because you don't know what's inherently in people. And he's like, it's my job to get those people away, either rehabilitated or out of the organization because they can be such a danger. And so I think about that. You know, if I let it go, and let's just say it was a commander, and I'm like, you know what, I faced so much brutality from that person, I'm just so glad they're gone. And then they go to another unit and they do the same thing, and God forbid either a suicide happens or other things happen, how horrible would I feel? I know I can't carry that weight alone, but I do know it is my job to report it, as tough as it is. So now when I hear comments like that, I'm more vocal to correct it on the spot, especially people who like to do little snide things or make comments about African American in their hair. I've experienced that. A lot of people in the military come from all walks of life. And, you know, I've met a lot of people who say, oh, I'm from a small town, so I didn't know. That's a little bit of ignorance, I will say, but I will give them the benefit of the doubt as well. Yes, you didn't know, but you know now. You don't say it again, you know, stuff like that. So I just wanted to say, dealing with systemic racism or racism at any level is hard. It's exhausting, traumatizing, emotional, physically, spiritually, mentally. And I've had a time, and I'm just so happy to be where I'm at today, and I'm so happy that we're moving forward. I do feel like, you know, next year is going to get even better, and I'm hoping that the systems change, not just our system that I serve for, but there's many systems that are broken due to racism, and it's deep rooted, and so it's going to take some weeding out. We're going to weed that out. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say on that. And, you know, I don't want to bring the energy, heavy topics like this absolutely 100% need to be addressed. But I also don't want to bring the energy into any more of my videos or holding things against just because it's so heavy and so traumatizing. I'm sorry it took me so long to film this, but I hope you guys understand with me being pregnant and sick. It was hard. But I am excited for 2021. I know you guys love seeing more videos. You want to see more videos. I'm hoping I can do that. But when it comes to vlogging or doing other things, the videos just are going to be different. And I am going to get back into doing makeup and stuff because I miss myself so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please share. Please comment down below if you need help dealing with any types of things like this, because I'm always a voice. Or if you just want to talk about things, just comment down below as much as you can. I don't really answer Instagram DMs too much anymore because it's too much. Like 100 messages every other day is a lot, and I just get overwhelmed, especially with doing all this. So I haven't been answering my Instagram DMs. So the best way to reach me directly is like comment, and I will respond. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video brought to you some light, or shed to you some light of what kind of I've gone through, and I hope to see you guys in the new year. Be blessed. Have a good day.